All right. Next up, we have Terry Provost. They don't. We won't admit it. Because if you admit they died for nothing, there'll be too much explaining to do. To the mothers unmothered, the children unhad, the wives unhusbanded, to the heroes unhear, and to their inconsolable kids about their missing dads. Too much explaining about why there were no WMD, why those certitudes were lies, why we tortured the people we were there to free, why we protected the oil and let the people rot, why there's still no AC years on in a place so infernally hot. If you admit they died for nothing, then too many questions are raised about how war for profit in the name of defense betrays the soldiers and those for whom they fought, about how this disgrace was started and by whom it was bought. If you admit they died for nothing, and so you keep it. They don't. We won't admit the truth. They didn't die for nothing. They died for less than nothing, for worse than nothing. They died for the racist proposition that Muslims enslaved by us are Muslims set free. They died to create a world where terrorism pays as long as the leading terrorist is their commander-in-chief. They died to make murder profitable for corporations. They died to destroy the peace of lawful nations. They died to prove that lies are true. They died for worse in less than nothing, less than nothing, less than nothing, unless we redeem their sacrifice by punishing those who did mislead them to an unprovoked war of aggression, unless we dismantle the war for profit Halliburton and Carlyle Group mercenary corporations, unless we revoke the hatred and ignorance that misleads would-be heroes to crusade or jihad, that misplaces a murdering idol for a loving God of peace. They died for less than nothing until all men and women, until we, the people, demand justice by jailing Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld and Rice and Powell and Tenet and Feist and Rove and the whole lot of people who sold us this war, until we, the people all around a unified and endangered globe, are at last equal and finally free. Woo! Keeping us safe, keeping us free, protecting the homeland security every day of the week, every week of the year. We're armed to the teeth, so we've got nothing to fear except maybe fear itself. Well, the kids were asleep all snug in their beds, while visions of predators danced through their heads. They were pint-sized heroes in an army of one, and for Jesus' birthday, all they wanted was guns. Guns for Jesus. And fear itself. Well, the terrorists are always around, so you better never lower your guard. And while we celebrate the baby Jesus, you know they're trying extra hard. Well, it was just after midnight, and NORAD radar showed that something big was coming in fast. There was no time to think, no time to argue. Act now, or it might be your last. And they might have thought twice, and they might have thought better, but the terror was already so high. Well, that was the night that the U.S. Air Force shot Santa Claus out of the sky. They blew Santa Claus out of the sky. And it was raining bits of blown up reindeer for hours and hours on end. And none of our tanks and none of our missiles could put Santa back together again. And whereas fear and hate may keep you safe from everything the enemy sends, the problem with answering fear with guns is you're gonna end up killing your friends with nothing to fear and no one to love except me. Fear itself.
Oh, God. I love that.
All right, that was poetry from Terry Provost. Thank you very much. That was fantastic. I wish you guys didn't stop. I mean, everything that I've heard tonight, I really, really like. I'm wondering if we should introduce an element to this of just stopping when
and just